what's up, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, and I am back actually doing another My Two Cent video this week. For this video, though, this is one I wanted to do for a little while. I just had to find the time or the right moment to do it, though, and with the recent announcement and with the recent announcement of the Valkyria Chronicles Remastered being announced, coming to the PlayStation 4, not to mention Twilight Princess HD coming to the Wii U, though, I figured this would be a good time to basically talk about the issue regarding remastered games that, quite frankly, we've been seeing a lot, at least in the 8th generation of consoles. This has been something I've noticed, though, and I think some gamers have noticed this too, and there are some people who have some mixed thoughts about this. There are some people who like, and also people who kind of hate this in a way, though. So with this game, with that, I would like to talk about this, and we're going to be looking at two parts. Part one, the positive side of this, and part two, the negative side for this. So we're going to start with part one, though, and we're going to talk about sort of the positive side, in a way, of these remastered games, though. And I do think there is a kind of a benefit to this, though. I think releasing remastered video games sometimes can be a good thing because it gives the developer an opportunity to maybe go back and maybe make some changes or make some stuff that originally they wanted to put in, but at the time it wasn't there, mostly either because the technology wasn't there or they ran out of time, couldn't do it. I mean, recently, like, you know, the Resident Evil and Resident Evil 0 HD remake, although those were remade back in, I think, 2002, back on the Nintendo GameCube back then, though. So, but there are plenty of other examples too, as well. Some examples we could look at are games like Devil May Cry Definitive Edition or Darksiders 2 Definition Edition or Definitive Edition. I did a review on this one, though. The thing about these games, though, in a way, is that to some degree, though, for games like Devil May Cry DMC, it was either the wrong time or the wrong place to release those kinds of games, release that kind of game, because there were people who were still upset about it, like, oh, it's not made by the same people who worked on the original and Devil May Cry 3, though, and truth be told, and I'm kind of guilty of this as well, was probably one of those people as well, but having played the Definitive Edition and playing it now, though, I mean, I look back at it and realize, you know, why was I thinking like that? Why didn't I just, like, you know, pick this game up when it originally came out? I missed out on the game, though, and I thought it was actually pretty good. I mean, it wasn't as good as, you know, the original or the third one, though, but it wasn't a terrible game as well. I mean, same with, of course, Darksiders 2 as well. I mean, the series sort of was thrown in limbo after THQ went bankrupt, though, so by releasing it in a way, though, by re-releasing it and, you know, putting all the DLCs and everything in it, though, it gives the series, you know, a second chance, and hopefully it performed well enough that people who play the game realize, you know, this is good, and it will convince them, you know, particularly Nordic games, to do, you know, like a third one, or do, like, the next chapter in it, though. I mean, and so on, though. Other remaster games we've seen so far, you know, games like Borderlands, the Handsome Collection, and, of course, you know, like games like Dishonored, Definitive Edition, though. I mean, by re-releasing some of these games, though, it also brings, you know, kind of interest back to the series. Perhaps maybe it wasn't there at the time, and it sort of brings that interest there. I mean, for cases like Dishonored, it's sort of great because, in a way, it builds up hype for, you know, like the second one, Dishonored 2, that they're working on. Same with Borderlands as well. It sort of builds up hype and interest for, you know, maybe Borderlands 3, though, or maybe Battleborn, though too early. I think most people would love to see a Borderlands 3, however. So, to a certain degree, remastered games do have a benefit, though. They can spark interest into the series that perhaps remain dormant for some times, or perhaps it's another way to introduce a new generation for those who may have not picked up the original ones when it came out, though, in a way. So there is a clear benefit to releasing these remastered video games, and as we're seeing with Valkyria Chronicles Remastered and Twilight Princess HD, though, in a way, those who may have missed out on it, though, might be able to pick up those games, might be able to try the game out and think, hey, this is good, though. Perhaps I would love them to do like a sequel or so on and so on, or why didn't I pick this up when it originally came out? So there is some benefits, though, although I did hear, Valkyria Chronicles was released on Steam, and that performed well, though. So there is a good benefit to it, though, and there is a positive to the remastered games that we've seen. But at the same time, there's also a negative side to it, though. All right, and I will get to that, though. We're going to take a little break, and and when I come back, we're going to get to part 2, and we're going to look at the negative side of these remaster games and what's the downside to it, though. Okay, so we'll take a little break, and we'll be back for part 2. Alright, folks, I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of the break, though. I am now back, and we are going to talk about, going to the second part 2 of our videos about the whole issue of remastered video games, and that is sort of the negative side of it, though. As I said before, I do think, I'm not against the idea of remastered video games. I think there is a positive to it. That said, I do kind of feel that as far as this generation has gone so far in terms of remastered video games, I feel that developers have really, and I think publishers as well, have really gotten really overboard with this. I mean, we've seen this in both 2014, 2015, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see it in 2016, is that almost every announcement of a game, mostly to Xbox One and PS4, has been basically a remaster. I mean, we've remastered this, remastered that. I mean, it almost makes it kind of feel like what's going on. Almost makes it kind of feel like, are developers in a way having a hard time with the Xbox One or the PS4? Do they feel like if they put all this money into creating a new game or something, it's not going to work, and it's better off that they just do a remaster of their old games and that would sell well? I mean, that's one of the problem. That's the thing I have. It's do they feel they're not getting their money's worth if they put time and effort into a brand new game, a newer version of it or a new IP, though? Another thing I've noticed with a lot of remastered games, which is pretty amazing, though, is that a good amount of it, though, we've seen has really been, a lot of them have run at 1080p 60 frames per second. Again, Devil May Cry Definitive Edition, 1080p 60 frames per second. And, of course, Borderlands, a Handsome Collection as well. Both of these are examples of games that seem to do a good job running at 1080p 60 frames per second, more than I could say with a lot of the games that have come out for the PS4 and the Xbox One. I mean, there are some games out there are some that do run at 60 frames, or some do run at 1080p, but rarely have we seen that as far as this generation goes, compared to some of the remaster games that have been coming out. So at the same time, it almost feels like a lot of these remaster games are coming out. It feels like that developers are just relying on that to a certain degree. I mean, yes, it's great. It's great for those who missed out on it, but at the same time, I almost feel like, where are the new games or anything? Where are a lot of these new games we were promised or anything like that? Another issue I have with remastered video games, and this applies to, I think, for PS4 owners or those who have this or not, is like the whole PlayStation Now thing. Now, for those who are not aware about PlayStation Now, that's that subscriber system where basically you could play PS3 games through, streaming it though, and in theory, it isn't a bad idea. I mean, I've tried it before, and technically, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Problem is, with like so many remaster games coming out, it makes like the whole idea of playing the PlayStation Now seem a little bit obsolete. Like, why play Borderlands 2 or a pre-sequel when I could just pick up like the Handsome Collection or anything? Why play Darksiders 2 streaming when I could just pick, the PS3 version streaming when I could just pick up this version right here, which has pretty much all the DLCs in it? So, or why should I, same with like, also same thing with like Dishonor as well. Also, another example would be Saints Row 4. I mean, why bother playing that through PlayStation Now when I could just pick up the Re-Election edition that has all the DLC? So, by a lot of these developers remastering games, though, it basically almost makes the whole PlayStation Now seem a little bit obsolete, though. Now, not every game has been remastered or anything, and there are some kind of, again, not all of them are, but I can't shake the feeling that, I mean, it's just basically it just makes PlayStation Now a good idea seem not worth investing in it, though, because of all these games being remastered, though. I mean, again, I don't think the service is bad, though. I just think it just makes it, like, how do I say this, though? It just makes it pointless to use it when, again, like I said, I might be being a dead horse of saying this, all these games being remastered and so on. So, overall, though, it's a double-edged sword when it comes to remastered video games, though. There are those who are basically going to hate it this generation, though, and there are those who don't mind the remastered game. I think there is a positive to it, though. I still think there is somewhat of a positive. It could reach an audience that may have missed out on a lot of the games, so there is some good coming out of this, though. But at the same time, though, the negative, I will say, does raise the question of basically, like, what's the point of this generation when basically we've been seeing a lot more remastered games than we originally had thought. So it's sort of an ups and downs on this one, and I'm sure everyone's going to have a different view about remastered games, though. Before I end this video, I do want to say something about one of the games that is being remastered, though, that I'm hoping this is good for SEGA, though. I'm hoping it is, and that is with the announcement of Valkyria Chronicles being remastered coming out. I do hope the game does find another chance. I really do. It was a really good game when I played it back on the PS3 when it came out back in 2008, though. I am hoping though, and I've heard that the sales of the PC version did well, though. But I'm hoping this time around, the game does find its audience, and I'm hoping it's enough to convince them to bring the upcoming Valkyrian game that they're working on. I think it's Azure Revolution. I'll have a link in the description. You could see it yourself, though. And correct me if I kind of spelled it wrong or anything like that. But I'm hoping that this game does well enough that it's sort of the first step towards Sega wanting to win back our trust, though. If you may recall, Sega CEO recently made a comment basically saying that they want to win our trust back, though. And I'm hoping with the release of Valkyria Chronicles Remastered, I'm hoping this is a step into the right direction, though, okay? I mean, like I said, I've said this before, time will ultimately tell, and Sega CEO who made that comment, though, it's going to be they're going to be held accountable. People are going to hold them to their words, though. So they're going to have to really prove that they want us to trust them again, though. So I'm all right, but I am hoping Valkyria Chronicles Remaster is that first major step, though. I mean, it's not going to solve all Sega's problems overnight. It's not going to fix and have us win their trust right away, though. But I'm hoping, and fingers crossed on this, that it's the first step towards them winning back our trust, though. Seriously winning back our trust, though. And I'm hoping also that the Valkyria Chronicles Remaster does well enough that we get the new Valkyrian game to come over here to the West, though, alright? So, here's the hoping, though, but again, we'll have to wait and see, and hopefully Sega is true to their words on this, though. Anyway, but like I said, this concludes the video, and like I said, these are my opinions, though. What's yours? Do you believe, are you okay with a lot of the remaster games that have been coming out this generation, though? Do you think you don't mind it, though? Or do you think it's kind of being blown out of proportion? Or are you, like, sick and tired of these remastered video games coming out? Or you don't mind this, you don't mind playing remaster games? You don't mind it, or don't mind using like PlayStation Now or anything like that? As for Valkyria Chronicles, as I said, though, are you with me? Are you glad Valkyria Chronicles Remastered is coming over here? Or you really don't care, though? Or you really don't care at all? Or you never liked the game? Are you hoping that the upcoming Valkyria Chronicle games come here? Are you hoping that it comes over here or not? So, again, like remasters, hate it. Like the Valkyria Chronicles Remastered coming here. Don't like it, though. As always, I hope you like the video. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think, whether you agree or disagree with me, though. And, of course, I hope you subscribe to my channel, though. Alright? I will say this concludes the video about remasters. Whole issue regarding remasters video games, though. I will see you again when I do another video, though. Hopefully that'll be soon. I'll have to fit in the time, but I will hopefully see you again, and I wish you guys have a very good day, though. So I will see you again next time, alright? Bye!